So the Flappy Bird is going to be in processing, which is Java based, and then we are going to have Snake Game, which is going to be in P5.js, which is JavaScript based. So we've had a speaker series which is running parallelly with this. So we had Claudia O'Reilly, who was the CEO of Recreate. It is a social enterprise. She spoke a week ago, and then last in the last series we had Anastasia Dre, who was a model and also a graduate from Dublin City University, and she was speaking about just the importance of taking time off and understanding your priorities, what matters to you. So we've had a lot of insightful sessions uh, during our speaker series. Both these Anastasias and the Martins one, they both are like recorded, so I can send you the link for that, and you can have a look at that if you missed it. So your team would consist of 4 people from different areas. Our team has 5 people plus a few extra ones for today, but we have a lot of diversity, as I mentioned before. We have Ireland, we have India, we have Brazil, Spain, Mexico, and Kazakhstan. So what we are going to do is we are going to have 4 weeks. So the first week is just introduction, just a little bit of chat, getting to know each other, and an intro to processing and the installation. So if you haven't installed processing, I would help you install it during this meeting. And then in the second week, that is next week, Saturday at 5 p.m. BST, we are going to have Flappy Bird using processing. So this can go a little bit long as planned, because see, I planned it for 1 hour, but when I did it with the mentors, when I taught them how to uh, code Flappy Bird from scratch, it took around 2 hours. So we'll just try and finish this as quickly, and if it exceeds, then we can do it in the next session. So Flappy Bird, how it's going to work is that I'm going to code and you are going to code with me, so that we both are in sync. And if you have any issues, you can just say it to me and I can solve it at the moment. So that's what we are trying to do here. Then after that, in the week 3, we are going to install a plugin which comes with processing. It is for P5.js. It's and we are going to do the Snake game. Both these games have a GUI, that means a graphical user interface with them, so you can actually play the game. So I will show you how the game works just now. And in the week 4, we're just going to wrap it up and have the final bits ready. So, how to make the most of this? Just attend the weekly meetings, because that's going to save you a lot of time. Because I'm coding in front of you, and you can code with me. So you wouldn't have to code it from scratch all by yourself. It's like we are doing it together. And if you attend the speaker series, then you are getting a very huge networking part as well, because the speakers are from a lot of diverse backgrounds. In the coming weeks, we also have a lot of entrepreneurs coming in. We have an author coming in. She is an author of creativity, a book on creativity. So she is also really, really, insightful in what she says and the idea she has about creativity. And also, I'm getting another speaker who has a very strong LinkedIn reach. She's going to be speaking about personal branding. So even though our sessions are going to be very technical, our speaker series are going to complement those technical sessions to make it more personal, to make it more to make it more business oriented as well as branding oriented. Because even though technical skills are really important, they are your go-to, but I feel you really need that soft skills and the branding side of things to just make sure that you get into the right doors and make sure that you get into the right opportunities which you really deserve. So that's what we want to do with the speaker series. And then obviously, if you complete the games, then you would definitely get a confidence in GUI and graphical user interface, and basically just understanding the logic behind these games. So the essentials for our program is basically processing, GitHub, and the willingness to learn. So if you want to learn something new, then definitely this is an amazing platform. And let's get ready and let's install processing if you haven't already. So if just before I move forward, if you have any questions, you can just let me know now. Is there anything you want to ask or anything unclear? Anything at all? Like, anything about the sessions. One thing I didn't add, what is P5? Okay, so P5JS is basically a plugin which comes with processing. So you just need to install it when you have the processing. I can just show it to you actually. So when you have processing, you can just go to tools and install P5JS. So we will be doing that in week 3. It's just like very simple. But there's another thing here. Do we need any IDE for Java? We don't need any IDE for Java because we are going to be using processing. So processing helps you put the code there and everything. So it's basically a kind of another language based on Java. So it's a bit different from Java, but it is Java based. So you can see here. I will show you the Flappy Bird game and how it's going to work. So if I open, this is how processing looks like. It's like a basic sketch here. And if I go to, if I just open the Flappy Bird game, yeah. So I have the game ready here, which I've opened, but I think this is not the one which I want to open. I want to open the one with comments. Anyways, we can play this and see, and then we can move forward with the other one. Yeah. So basically, this is going to have 3 files. I'll explain the whole code in the next session because that's what we're going to do in the next session. But if you play this, then you would see how we want it to work. Yeah, so this is what we want to do with the game. Like, this is what we want to achieve in the final, like, Flappy Bird result. In the snake game, also, we want to do something similar, but obviously, snake will look different. It's something what we want to do as an extension from our previous program is to introduce the GUI aspect because we already had a program a month ago in which we were teaching Java, Python, and C++ from scratch. So this is a second version of the program in which we are trying to introduce the graphical user interface and the logic behind these games. Like, why is the score negative? Why are the pipes turning red? How is the background that, all the small details which you can see in this. And most importantly, what we want to introduce is object oriented programming because you can see that there are multiple files here, but still the program is able to run through that one file. Why is that happening? And all those details would be covered in the session which I would be leading next week. And I would be starting from the very scratch. Like, I would have this open. I would code alongside, and you guys would be coding with me so that we understand each line of what the code is doing. And if you have any questions, you can just like say it at the moment and we can discuss it as a group. So it's like debugging and coding live. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how that works. And even when I did it with the mentors, it was really fun because they were pinpointing some things, which I didn't realize earlier. So it's very interesting to code together and understand and debug together. So it's really nice. And even the GUI, when it turns out, it looks really pretty. And when you're able to play your own game which you coded, it really makes you feel nice, when it works. So it's nice. And that's what we want to do with the Flappy Bird and the snake game. And in terms of the P5JS, you can literally just have it from here. So you can switch modes here. Well, the reason why I'm able to see this and maybe you are not, because I already installed P5JS, but you can just do it from add mode. So before we go to P5JS, let's first install processing. So if you can just go to processing.org, you would be able to you would be able to download processing basically. Okay, just a sec. Yeah, so just do processing.org. I'll also send the link here. Yeah, so Mohit says that I don't know much about Java. I only so yeah, if you know JavaScript, it's see the thing with this is that I have a question about meetings. Is it possible to move meetings 1 hour? Okay, uh, Eduardo, I think 6 p.m. Irish time suits me, and the only problem is that some people here are from in like they are based in India, so they wouldn't. Would that be okay for everybody? Like if you move it to 6 p.m. Irish time? Yeah? No? Mohit, is that okay for you? Muskan, Muskan, Mohit, Ayushi, and Shreya, like, and Sneha as well. I think. Yeah, Tuhina is okay. Is there anybody else? No, no one is saying 5 p.m. is okay. See, the only problem is, yeah, 5 p.m. would be okay, but 6 p.m. would just be very late, for people who are. I think 5 p.m. is okay for everybody. So let's go with 5 p.m. now. Okay, 5 p.m. is fine. Yeah, so if everybody can just install processing from the link I sent and just have it ready for now at least, then we can also discuss how we can, like, if the meeting time doesn't suit or what, we can just plan that. Because see, the thing with Flappy Bird is we would need time. It is a bit of a large project. I didn't realize it when I was making the timeline, but it is a little bit big. So if you want to have it in one meeting, it's better to just have a little bit more time. So if we go with 6 p.m., then it's just going to be a little bit late for other people. So I guess let's keep it to 5 p.m. for now. Because see, the thing is that if we are able to finish Flappy Bird and Snake Game in one meeting, that means two meetings done. So the fourth meeting would be much more relaxed. But I think let's try and have it done for Casper. Mohit says 6 p.m. What is that? So everyone is okay for 5 p.m., right? I think everyone is suited for that. 5:30. Yeah. Okay, so 5 p.m. suits everyone then. And everyone has installed processing. Yeah, Amy, I think you will be contacted by someone else because I wasn't. Basically, your mentor was supposed to be Prem, right? But he dropped out because now he has some other commitments. So I think your mentor is going to be Anisha. She's going to contact you, and you are going to have meetings with her. So you were there in my intro meeting just so I can introduce the session to you, what we are going to do. But your mentor is going to be Anisha. Duration of the session. So each session is going to be approximately. I planned it to be 1 hour, but I think with Flappy Bird it's just going to take a little bit more time. So the next session is going to be 1.5 hours. So uh, I think it's going to be very, like, once we start, sometimes you don't even realize that the time is passing, because it's so engaging. So when I was giving the session to other people with my mentors, it really exceeded the time, but it was really fun because we were all live, hands on coding and debugging. So it was really good. And I'm going to record that and put that on YouTube if you miss anything. But if you are able to be there for the whole session, you would be able to complete the whole game in one session. So try and make that session if you can. And let's make sure that we have processing installed. And for GitHub, I'm going to show you the repository which we're going to, like, use. So let me just open that now. But is everybody okay with processing? Like, did they install, like, did you guys install it? Yes, 5 p.m. Irish time means 9:30 IST. Is there anyone who was not able to install processing or is facing problems opening that? No, you can unmute yourself and speak. There's no limitation or anything. If you want to say something, you can just say it. No, everyone's okay with processing. Yes, yeah, yeah. If you want to just I'm so sorry. I don't have proper connectivity, so I haven't done that. Okay, yeah, Sneha, if you can try and do it now, then it's just going to be easy. I think there's someone else who joined the meeting now. Uh, okay, everybody else is fine. Sneha, can you try just try going to the link and try and download it, because then we don't want to waste any time next week trying to download things. So I'll also send you the link to the repo we are going to use. So this is the repo where everybody is like committing their work. So when you are coding and when you are complete with your game, even if everybody's going to have the same code, it's okay as long as you attempted it yourself. You can just commit it to GitHub, and that's going to be the repo we are going to use. If you need access to that, I will also send you access to your emails because I have your emails. I'll do that, and let's make sure that we have processing installed today so that we can work on it. We can work on Flappy Bird next week. And yeah, I don't want to start Flappy Bird today because we have a little bit more members, and it's a bit we just need to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And for Rashmita, if you missed something, I just went over the 4 weeks and what we are going to do. And if you want to just stay on the call after, I can give you a briefing just after as well. But your team is going to be with Ayush. So I think Ayush already reached out to you, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so he would Ayush and Pradyum are going to be your mentors, so they would help you basically, and they are going to have their first session tomorrow, I guess. So maybe you can attend that. So even Amy, I guess whenever Anisha has the meeting, just make sure that you're able to make that. If you're not, just let me know and we can arrange another time. But we want to make sure that everybody is able to attend the meetings because that's the whole main offering of the program. So, Amy and Rashmita, do you guys have processing installed as well?
Yes.
Yeah, great. That's amazing. So, yeah, like with the P5JS, it's only a plugin in processing, so it's very easy to switch. And the main thing is, even if you're not comfortable with Java or JavaScript, it's okay because I'm going to be walking you through everything, like every line. So it's going to be fine, even if you're not familiar with things. So right now it looks a little bit overwhelming, but if you can see, all the files have very less code in them. It's not that much. So we can easily cover this. It's only about the logic. So these few bits here and these few bits here, they are like actual logic of how the game operates. So this is something which we would need to walk through, and it's pretty doable, so we are going to do that next week. So until then, if everybody is fine with it, everybody's okay with processing, we can meet next week and we can start with the program. And I'd highly recommend you guys to attend the speaker series as well, because next week we are having GitHub, as well as we are having someone from She Codes. So she is going to be speaking about basically female empowerment in terms of technology, how she has established herself, and what all initiatives she's been involved with. And she's going to be speaking that. But uh, basically, we have another one of the mentors who's going to be speaking about GitHub and some. There's just one interesting bit about it. Basically, he's going to teach you how to set up a blog post with GitHub in that time span. So it's going to be very fun and interesting. So make sure that you attend that. And if you have any questions during the week, then do reach out to me. But from next week, we are just going to start with hands on, Flappy Bird and Snake Game. So before that, if you have any questions or anything at all, you can let me know. And if you haven't yet, do join the Discord server as well, because it's very, very like all the participants are there. You can network with people and definitely do that. I'm just going to find the link right quickly and I'll send that to you now. I have so many links here that it's a bit messy. Is there anyone who wants to say anything else? Anything? Yeah, this is the Discord server. If you haven't joined it already, you can join that. And for the people, for Amy, Rashmita, and is there anybody else who was not originally in my team? No? Muskan, I guess. Muskan as well. Yeah. So, Muskan, your mentor is going to be either Anisha or either Ayush. Let me just check that. Did Ayush contact you, Muskan? No. So it should be Anisha then. Let me just check. Yeah, so Anisha is going to contact you. She has said that she would add you to the group. So if she doesn't by today, then I'll just add you to Anisha's team and you can contact her. But Anisha is going to be the mentor for Amy and Muskan. And for Rashmita, we have for Rashmita and one more person. Let me just check because I think Ayush already added Rashmita. Rashmita and Milind. Milind is not here today, but Rashmita and Milind, you guys are going to be in Ayush's and Pradyum's team. So they would be having their meetings and you can just join that. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but obviously, like, since they must have already had the intro session, I'm just doing the intro session for you. But for the Flappy Bird and Snake game, we are using the same code base. So it's just the mentors are different. But if you have any problems with those teams, if your team member doesn't contact you or mentor doesn't contact you, just let me know, and I'll make sure that your team is arranged. And even then, you're more than like welcome to come and join my sessions if you don't understand anything. So these meetings are going to happen every week, 5 p.m. PST. So if you are available at that point, just join my meetings if that doesn't work for you. Is that okay? I will also send the link to our YouTube channel in which we post like weekly content, and basically we post speaker sessions and the videos for those speaker sessions. So you can subscribe to that and you can start like you can watch the previous session if you missed it because it was really, really good and insightful. So I definitely feel that you should look at that if you missed the speaker series. And if any of you haven't given me your emails, just send that to me because we would need that for like just to keep check with the meetings because I send weekly emails for meetings and for speaker series. So you'll get the links for that if you haven't sent me your email already. But everything else is fine, and we can see each other next week and start coding with Java and processing. If there are any more questions, you can let me know. And also, one more thing, we would be providing certificates to all the participants. So that is also one a good perk to be a part of the program. So make sure to attend which code editor. Yeah, as I covered, it's processing. So code editor basically processing covers everything. So if you can see here, we can actually code inside that. So it has certain files, it's object oriented, so we don't really need any other code editor, we can just use this. So it has Java and built-in JavaScript, which is with P5.js, so we don't really need any other code editor. Is that okay? Okay, perfect. If there are any other, do we need to get basics clear of JavaScript? Okay. So before I step into JavaScript, I felt that it's better to do Java with processing. That's why next week is just Java with processing first you understand Java, you understand object oriented programming, you understand variables and stuff. If you don't know any of that, then just like make sure that you understand the basic concepts, then we will move on to JavaScript. So the only difference with JavaScript is this dot. Like, so if I show you the code of JavaScript, you would know that it's not that difficult and it's not that different, you know. So we open this. Yeah. So with Java, this, this is the processing code as well, I guess. Okay, yeah, I think right now I don't have that code base with me in this computer. But then what I could do is I could have the code base open for JavaScript for next time. I'll show you how it works. But it's not that hard. It's just that we have one extra file for index.html because it's going to be on the web server. So you can actually see your game live on the website. So, and the only difference would be just like this dot. So we would use this operator for like variables and stuff. So that's the difference with JavaScript and normal processing, but there's not a huge amount of difference. So, you know, like the logic is still going to be same. You're still going to be, you know, using the same for loops and stuff. So it's going to be fine even if you don't know the basics. So don't worry so much about not knowing JavaScript and not knowing Java, because the main idea behind this is to understand the logic behind the games. So that once you understand that, even if you're not clear with the syntax of the language, you can just learn that, you know. So don't worry about that. Even if you don't know the syntax, it's fine. We can work that out during the meeting, and if the meeting exceeds a lot, we can just have it in two meetings. So if by any chance I'm not able to finish the whole game in one meeting, we can just divide it in two meetings and finish it in the next one. So don't worry about that. It's gonna be fine. Will we be given documentation for the basics? Okay. So what do you mean by documentation? You mean like do you want some kind of slides or something? Or we would be having commented code. So you know, like in terms of the documentation, I thought that there's no need for slides because we are doing it hands on, like we are actually coding together. So if I have this file open, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a split screen. I'm going to have my file open. I'm going to code from like the very scratch, so very basic. So I would have void setup. I'll explain what setup is. So setting up the screen, setting up the frame. So we have a 600 by 600 frame. We are creating a new snake object. So I'm going to walk you through each line, and there are also going to be comments to the code. So once we finish, uh, once we finish the game, you would have the commented code with you as well. So, what exactly do you mean by documentation for the basics, Amy? Like, is it like any other documentation which you need or something else? You won't really need to Google it along because we are going to be coding together. So all the basics are going to be covered during the session. But is there if there's anything else you need, you can ask me now. Just informational loops. Okay. Yeah. So what I had assumed is when I was selecting the applications was that the most of the people I selected for the program already had that knowledge of loops and variables and stuff. But because see, the thing is that this is a extension from the other program, which was the basic one. So people did the Java and the normal basic syntax program, and then now we are doing this. But if you're unclear of for loops and variables and stuff, I can walk you through that also in the session. But I expected certain, like just little bit basic knowledge on those levels because we are not going to be covering like the exact, you know, what are for loops, what are why. Like I would just be saying that I'm going to be using a for loop. But if you don't know how for loops work, then I can definitely go over that. These four. Okay, yeah, Amy, you know Python and stuff, right? You mentioned that you know some level of you have Python and web development experience, so that should be enough. Because no, like for loops and stuff are same for all the languages. So coding fundamentals are same for all languages. Only difference is the syntax. So even when you're working for a company, it's not always necessary that yeah, yeah, it's okay if you're new to JavaScript. That's absolutely okay. So it's not always necessary that you would be coding in the same language because there are many companies who have their own coding languages. So even if you don't know the syntax, it's fine because you can learn the syntax. But all you need to know is the logic. So the logic is the same for most other languages. So logic is not going to change. The language is just a tool so that you can actually code what you think. So it's just a different pen, like there are different pens like sketch pen, ballpoint pen, gel pen. So they're all pens, right? You can always write with them, but they are just different looking. So that's the only difference between each language. So that should be fine. And what else? Is there any other question? I'm not able to download P5JS. So P5JS is just a plugin. You don't need to worry much about, you know, there on the web editor. You don't need to use the web editor. You can use processing. And okay, so you are saying that you're not able to download. Okay, so you don't really need P5JS for the next meeting. So if you're able to just have processing for next meeting, I can guide you through P5JS in the next, like in the upcoming meeting. So don't worry if you don't have it now. We can have it next time, but just make sure that you have processing because that's what we're going to use in the next meeting. Yeah, that's okay. So for P5JS, all you need to do is just go here, just say add mode, and then it should give you an option of adding P5JS here. So it's very straightforward. It's just like, but maybe for Windows it can be a little bit challenging sometimes. So just make sure that you are able to. If you're not, then we can figure something out. It's okay. Is it fine? Did you work it? Is there anything else, guys? Anything about the content, meetings, or anything extra? If you guys want to get more involved with Girl Script, we also have some openings for social media officers in which you would be handling our social media. So if you guys are interested in that, you can message me about that, and I can help you if you want. You can join our team if you are interested in social media or anything along those lines because we are currently expanding our marketing team. So if you want, you can reach out to me with regards to that and I can guide you along those lines if you want to. Perfect. So if everybody's set up with processing, we can meet next week and we can discuss in detail and we can have a good session in which we cover Flappy Bird. And if there's anything at all during the week, uh, anything you need, anything which is unclear, just let me know. And we can just deal with the issues. And I would really like if everybody's more interactive because that's the whole purpose of this program. So don't be shy to unmute yourself and just say things, because if you're not having any interaction, then it's just me speaking. And that would be very boring. So it would be just like me speaking to circles, so I don't want that to happen. So if you have anything to say, just speak. And that's the whole point of this because obviously we're not in person right now. We're just like virtual, and doing things like this virtually is so hard. Like we've been trying to do our level best throughout the past a few months, but obviously it's very challenging and difficult. So just make sure to use this opportunity as much as you can, and whenever you want to speak. And if you can have your cameras on, that's going to be a plus because at least I can see you guys then. Okay, that's okay with everyone?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. So, yeah, I can see everyone next week then. And Amy and Muskan and Rashmita, your mentors will contact you. If not, then I'll tell them to contact you. So don't worry about that. And yeah, we can have a session next week then. Okay, then, guys. See you next week. Bye.
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 Thank you for the session.